welcome to C3Arts Radio. This is your loyal host, Philip Harvey, coming live and direct to you from City College, New York, of course, the College on the Hill. And we are the broadcast arm of the City College Center for the Arts. Here every Tuesday, 5 to 6 p.m., right here, WHCR 90.3 FM. That's right, the voice of Harlem. And, we're regular here. I hope you've gotten to know us so far. If you haven't, this is a great day for you to get acquainted with the team here at C3Arts Radio, as not only do we have a right-hand man, Mr. Winston Brewington, in the house.
Hello. What's going on?
Well, how you doing today, Winston, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's Grammy week.
Grammy week. The city's a buzz.
It is a buzz this week. All the parties are happening.
Absolutely.
People flying in.
Yeah. People flying in.
Absolutely. Also, quick shout out to Jordan Peele for 4 Oscar nods for Get Out.
Okay, absolutely. Jordan Peele. Keep doing it, brother. Keep doing it. We like it. We like it here at C3Arts. Right?
Absolutely.
And we also have in the house Miss Melody Vaughn.
Hello.
And we promised a couple of weeks ago that we were going to get Melody back in here. She is recently joined the C3Arts Radio team, and she has agreed to provide with us her fantastic insight into the design world.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey.
We've given her a title, interior design correspondent, but you might not hear her say that much.
Title. Hey, I'm just honored to share my wealth of knowledge about beauty. So thank you, Mr. Harvey.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so we had to get Melody back up in here so we can really talk about Melody and put the spotlight on her a little bit. You'll be hearing a lot from her here on C3Arts Radio, so we want to make sure you had that kind of formal engagement here at the beginning. Yes. So we're going to get to that in a little bit. But as the broadcast arm of the City College Center for the Arts, it is our duty to make sure that you are aware of what is happening here on the campus of City College, and of course on the stages and in the presentation halls in City College, and Aaron Davis Hall, of course, the largest performing arts center north of Lincoln Center. Wow. You have to get in on this. And I'll give you a better example. Let's talk about some of the programming that we have coming up. First of all, Friday, January 26th, 7:30 p.m., the Mary Anderson Theater will be the Manhattan School of Music Jazz Philharmonic Orchestra featuring special guest trumpetist John Faddis. Now, of course, we're talking about that John Faddis, who was once the jazz conductor of Carnegie Hall, amongst many other awards and accolades. The great John Faddis will be the guest trumpet for the Manhattan School of Music Jazz Philharmonic Orchestra. Now, what's quite interesting about this is that they will be doing Clifford Brown with strings. So they're going to be featuring the music of Max Roach and Clifford Brown Quintet. And the guest conductor is Scott Archangel. Of course, that is Friday, January 26th, 7:30 p.m. Now, also coming up, February 8th, 7 p.m., Aaron Davis Hall, Marian Anderson Theater. We have MorDance presents Fats Waller's Rhythm. Now, MorDance is, of course, one of the up-and-coming dance troupes. Features celebrated choreographer Morgan McEwen. And they do a lot of kind of testimonials, a lot of homages to great musical artists as well as dance legends. This time they're doing the great Fats Waller. And the choreography is centered around what we often call Fat Waller's rhythm. And the special music that he played on the piano. So it should be a great and fantastic program. Again, that's February 8th, 7 p.m. at Aaron Davis Hall, Marian Anderson Theater. And as always, still going on, we have the Void of Death exhibition. And I didn't mean to say that way. That sounded kind of strange, right?
Yeah.
Still going on. Yeah.
The Void of Death.
Yeah, let me rephrase that sentence.
Please.
The fantastic exhibition, which is the solo exhibition by Mr. Julio Mejia, fantastic artist. And the name of the show is called Void of Death.
That feels better. Yeah.
Of course, that's curated by the great Susan Luss. And we had to extend it. It was so popular. So many people wanted to see it. Didn't get a chance to see it. And it's first run, so we had to extend it. So that will be going on until February 26th in the Aaron Davis Hall Gallery. Of course, the gallery is open from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Right? And that's what's coming up.
Nice.
It's a lot going on,
I gotta
right?
get in. I gotta check that
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
We gotta put some things on the schedule.
I know, right? Oh my God, how can I do it all?
So much to do at so little time.
Yeah.
For more information, go to citycollegecenterforthearts.org so you can figure out how to get your tickets and everything else, right? This is C3 Arts Radio, and we're just getting started around here, so we'll be right back. Stick with us.
From the foul way they breed and say you're such a fucking leaders with no intention to free us. And if you believe in love, then imagine what the key is. The sentiment for me is simply love me. Love you, I do. Love you, I love you. I love you, I do. Oh, it sets our heart to fire. Sweet, you
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, always back right here, C3Arts Radio on WHCR 90.3 FM. And you know, you can always catch us, not just here, not just in between 5 and 6 p.m. on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, but you can also catch us online. So check us out at C3Arts Radio. That's Twitter and Instagram, and C3ArtsRadio.com. All right, you get all the information, keep the party rolling, all right? Yeah. So, in the studio, we have Melody Vaughn.
Melody.
It's like a melody.
Melly Mel.
She's like a melody. And Melody has so graciously decided to join the show. And she came and she showed how fantastic she was just a couple of weeks ago in the studio. But we were always planning on getting her in here so we can talk directly with her and introduce her to the audience.
Well, thank you, Mr. Harvey. And yeah, we've been doing this dance for a minute, trying to make this happen. So the universe opened up some time and give some love to the neighborhood. And, you know, anything about art, I'm all over it. So.
I know. And let's get into that a little bit, because you have been, of course, involved in the arts, plural S, for some time now. Tell us a little bit about your background. We always want to know how people develop into this kind of appreciation, or this kind of, even to the point where it's almost, you just live it. It's not something which is separated from
So
it.
true. I always found a place of peace, anything around beauty. And you know, started volunteering at a couple of galleries and museums. And
where I met you. And in full disclosure, Melody and I used to work at the Apex Museum in Atlanta, Georgia, over 25 years ago.
Hey! Come on, why you gonna, you know, ouch. Yeah, I was fresh out of high school. And,
It just shows you how long people have been doing this work.
Doing what we love, right? What an honor, I tell you. So,
That's right.
realizing that, you know, art was so deeply embedded in me. But prior to that, my dad was a landscape designer.
Okay.
And that was a self-taught type of skill. So, you know, having been born in New York and moved to Florida, and then he used his crafts to make beautify lawns. I sneak into these huge homes and say, wait a minute, I can live like this. I can create this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, from there, I did the corporate thing for a while, but always had a little side gig, a little side hustle. Making things beautiful. So.
Absolutely. I like the way you put that, making things beautiful, because that is essentially, there's a kind of sense that wherever you are, you should be able to
be a part of it, enjoy
to look
it,
at your surroundings and be able to enjoy it from a certain point, from an aesthetic sense.
Oh, you nailed it. And I think every angle, every corner of your home should reflect a part of you. And it's hard to get to that rhythm. And believe it or not, it starts by just organizing.
Right.
You know, finding every place has a home, and finding that space. And then you can layer on the beauty. But I started my journey as a professional organizer. And then ventured into designing kitchens. So,
That's it's an interesting concept, because it's kind of like a germ idea, right?
Yep.
The organizing.
Yep.
And then from there you can then dictate what the space is.
So true.
Instead of being dictated to, in a sense, right?
Yeah. And it's like music, and it's like an empty canvas. You know, you got to do that backdrop and layer on the colors, and then you start creating, or you do that sketch and then you layer on the colors. So just like that's design. Life is about that. You know, you get that education and you build on it, and you finally find that passion. So, yeah. My true love was kitchens, that organizing and making it beautiful. And
that's interesting. Why kitchens?
Kitchen's the heart of the home, and I think when you serve food, you are feeding souls as well. So persons that chefs and persons that enjoy to cook, there's an art and there's a craft to it. So having that kitchen that's organized and, you know, that looks good, your food kind of, I think, tastes better. But I'm always a big advocate of having that beautiful home. And from a spiritual standpoint, and bringing in a little slavery, a little history, kitchens were always in the back, in the slaves' quarters, and, you know, that's where you prepare the food. And now we are, you know, expanding and growing and evolving into a full, you sense of person. So we have this beautiful kitchen now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's the heart of the home. It's the heartbeat. We don't have to hide it anymore.
It's definitely where everyone gathers
Yep.
at any
Yep.
kind of function.
Exactly.
I've spent hours and hours in kitchens. I know that.
Yeah, right. But what's kind of cool, what's happening now in the design world with kitchens is it's becoming a piece of furniture. So you
Right.
can't even tell it's a kitchen until you start opening cabinets and doors because of the design aspect of it. So yeah.
I know that something that you've been getting into is what you might call kind of virtual design,
Yep.
in a sense.
Yeah.
How does that work? What is some of the
Well, the design industry is shifting so much that anyone can pretty much design their own home, from space planning tools. But in my industry, there's a lot of small companies that are coming out, and you send them their floor plans, and you send them your color scheme, and they can create a virtual layout, and you pretty much buy the items and you're done. Having that level of disclosure and availability, accessibility, really opens up my industry. And good, bad, or indifference, it is what it is. The internet has allowed a lot of persons to source their individual pieces or create layouts, and then they may feel they don't need a designer, but those virtual services, they're still designers behind it. So,
right?
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
it's a different feel.
Absolutely. But would you say, let's say, I'm not sure this is all. I'm not trying to put this out there as kind of a hard
Yeah.
time period, but let's say 15 years ago,
Uh-huh.
right? How would you compare where the industry is? 15 years ago as compared to now?
Night
2018.
and day, I
Yeah,
swear. I
yeah.
feel like, and funny enough, it was about 15 years when I started this, and to be a designer meant let's keep it real. We used to see, I think of designers as blonde hair, blue-eyed, privileged, luxury, and now it's a necessity, and everything, every part of life is touched by a designer. Every business. The accessibility now, you go online, you find a piece of furniture, you Google it, and you can have it shipped to you in a matter of weeks.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that accessibility has changed the game a lot. And there's so many different schools of thought in regards to design. Do you need a degree? Do you not need a degree? And what it all means. So there's a huge shift, and there's a lot of companies that are coming up that you can get things in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Versus that 12 to 14 week window for customization pieces. So yeah, it's definitely a game changer. The internet, it's changed it all.
Yeah, it's changed everything. Right?
Yep.
The face of everything.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really quite impressed with your ability to adapt to the changes. And you seem to always be ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen. It's the hustle in me, baby. Let's keep it real when I see it coming. And you're right. So thank you for that. I try to, when I see a trend that's continual, always a part of the Shelter magazines, always, attending networking events and reading up on it. It's what I do. It's a part of who I am. So I got to know how I can better serve my customers and clients. And yeah, so many designers get stuck into one rhythm, and when that rhythm shifts, they're lost, and it becomes unfortunate because that style. But yeah, I'm definitely about to change. Yeah. Just like music and art, there's that rhythm and that beat, and you just gotta ride with
True
it.
that.
Wasn't that right, Mr. Musician? Over
Absolutely,
there?
absolutely. All about that.
Yeah, and my name's Melody. Forgot to. Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely about staying above the curve and being okay and willing to let go of some of the ways you used to do things. But at the end of the day, I label myself as a spiritual healer dressed up as an interior designer.
So it's one of the tools in the toolbox.
That's it. You just got to pull it out and apply it where needed.
I see. I know we were talking a little bit off air.
Yeah.
About a new client that you have.
Oh,
It
wow.
Sounds pretty exciting, though.
Yeah. Okay. It cracks me up on the interesting folk that don't do social media. So a really good friend of mine, Kerwin Devanis, shout out, Mr. Emmy Award-winning cinematographer,
Absolutely.
has recently been given love by his native land of Barbados.
Okay.
And he has done films with Spike Lee. She's Gotta Have It. He was the major video cinematographer behind that, and Michael Jackson. The guy's amazing, just absolutely amazing. And his eye in the camera is like just. So yeah, he's a good friend.
But the gig that you're gonna be doing for Fashion Week.
When you talk to Phil offline, I was like, yo, Phil, I'm sorry I'm late. I had this call. And now here we go. Yeah, I'm.
Well, we don't have to go into that. We can
Yeah.
talk about some,
Yeah.
some of the guest clients that you've had. Yeah.
I have had the unique opportunity to work with Jill Scott. Doing some stuff with her kitchens. I've worked with one of the housewives of Atlanta. I've worked with Rich Dennis, who is the owner of Shea Moisturizer.
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
has recently purchased Essence.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's what's
Oh,
up.
much
That's
love.
what's up.
Yeah, I did some. I did his
I see-
Hamptons house and worked with designing that. So
I see you guys are kind of in kind of buzzing around.
Yeah, man.
The same, the same
Hey,
Metrodome.
hey.
That's good stuff. That's
yeah,
good stuff.
it's nice. And what's beautiful about it is these and the builders and the luxury and the high end. When you get them alone, it's all about that shade of beige or that shade of gray or that texture on that fabric. You forget the billions of dollars or the crowd that's following them that want to touch it. To be in Jill's presence when we're just like talking about the countertop, it's a beautiful thing. And I like to meet people there in their most vulnerable, raw state, and then turn that space into a beautiful space. So I guess I'm part to blame as far as not blowing all that up on social media, but some things you just want to keep sacred, and I cherish that with my clients.
Absolutely. So it's the beginning of 2018. We're talking about the future here.
That's right.
What are some of the things? What are some of the things you see coming down the pike in 2018? We're going to be having this conversation a few times. So
Yeah.
Of course this year,
Yeah.
but-
So
but early in the year, what are some of the kind of trends that you say?
I tell you what's coming back? Bold colors, man.
Yeah.
They're coming with an attitude, and I
Yeah.
love it. We were stuck in this gray, beige, cream world for a minute. And everything was stainless, and now they're mixing metals. We're having that antique brass meet that polished steel and that nickel. But those bold colors are going to be sexy.
Yeah.
Violets and the rich purples and the cranberries and that emerald green. So across the board, from countertop kitchen cabinets to sofas and headboards. Bold colors are really one of the new mixes.
I always think of it. You see some people in their fashion, in their dress,
Yes.
and they kind of reflect
Yep.
the energy
Yep.
that kind of decides these things.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
Because fashion and interiors, we are born from the same bed. Like we speak the same language, and you want to know what the trends are in interior, watch the trends in fashion, and vice versa. It's funny because all my clients, I go straight to their closets. I'm like, I'll look in the house, and I'm like, go to your closet. And they're like, why? And if I see a story in their closet, I know where I have to, what direction I can go.
I see.
But or if they are in that place where they're getting a divorce or getting married or they're joining families or they're running across a little money and they want to make some changes, it's introducing a different rhythm to them because sometimes they're stuck. But there's definitely a correlation between fashion and interiors.
I like what you just said. You look in there and you see a story.
Yeah.
And so and my guess would be that this cuts across all things that you're looking at.
Yeah.
So what kind of just give me an example of a type of story that you might see.
So this one client I had, I went into her closet and it was orderly. That's one of my little things, but she had a lot of black, white, beige, gray, like no pattern.
Yeah.
And any
all color block.
all color block. And I knew that at that point, that's what direction we're going to go in her home. We're going to do color blocks and keep it simple and do some monochromatics. And then there was another client that was an artist, and he had tons of color. But I needed to scale it down and just go white walls and let his colors show out because you didn't want to compete. So those are kind of the direction those I could go with the closets.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So the white wall, for example.
Yeah.
And I know in your background and dealing with art, in the sense, visual art, let me say. Do you borrow from that a lot? Because the concept, for example, of the white wall, so the images can pop.
Right.
That's still a big kind of building block. In
It is.
philosophy.
I personally have a requirement of all my clients. They must have an original piece of art in their home when I'm done. I mean, and it could be something they've created, or I can reach out and source through some galleries, and that's something that Phil and I are eventually going to take to the next level, which we keep dancing about. But it's another conversation.
Yes.
But yeah, the art is so vital to telling the complete story in a design concept. And what white walls do, it gives you that space to allow the art to speak, for you to look at it like a museum or like a gallery. But it also gives it a nice landing spot. And then, when I say white, I lean to a light beige, or a hint of a lavender, or a hint of anything that's light and wispy.
I see.
I fall into the white world. So
I often get teased because I always buy gray sneakers.
yeah. Mic drop moment.
But that's the way I try to explain it. I say that because the gray sneakers allow me to have more variety in the colors I wear.
Yeah.
Right?
But
or
you're
gray.
a slick dresser, though. You can layer on things. You got a good eye.
Is that right?
Yeah,
You heard that. You heard that on Friends and Family, C3Arts Radio.
Got some style, bro.
Not fishing for compliments, but
But what drives you to the gray sneaker? What?
Because I think it's something that you could wear with not only just kind of different colors, but you can also kind of go in a colorful direction.
Yep.
With the gray.
Yep.
So you can go with bright colors. You can go
with the muted or
the muted or darker. So people make fun of me about gray sneakers, but there's a reasoning to it. There's a method to the madness.
That's right. All right, that's a blog entry for me. Yeah, Phil and his gray sneakers, or a kid's book. That's Phil and his gray sneakers. I love it. But you're right on point. That's exactly what it's about. And as a designer, my job is to find out what that thing is, without letting the client know that that's what I'm looking for. And they may not even realize that that's their rhythm.
Right.
Like, what's that foundation? What's that sweet spot? And that we can build on. So, I know, right? It's crazy.
We have Melody Vaughn in the studio today, and we're going to be having a lot of Melody around. This is a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
But so, remember, ladies and gentlemen, in fact, let me make sure that you know where you can always make sure that you get this information quite often. MelodyVaughnInteriors.com is where you're going to get the information that you need to find on Melody, as well as her being here in the studio with us, but also any other time. Please go to MelodyVaughnInteriors.com to make sure you get that information. And this is C3Arts Radio. We're still just getting started, so we'll be right back.
Love it.
La gente está equivocada que al vivir así la vida, que el mundo está terminando todo hecho a la medida. Yo les voy a contestar que todo eso es mentira. Hay cosas que siendo cortas se alargan cuando se estira. Yo te voy a dar ejemplo porque tengo la razón. Hay cosas que no se miden. Una de ellas es el dolor. Dolor. Ricos siento por mis hermanos, qué dolor. Dolor, dolor, el que llevo en mi corazón. ¡Ja! Empieza a gritar, dame la mano mi pana, que yo me quiero salvar del dolor. Dolor, dolor, el que llevo en mi corazón. Yo comparto mi deber con toda la sociedad, en cambio tuve los ricos, que eso no tienen piedad del dolor. Dolor, dolor, el que llevo en mi corazón. Dolor.
That's what you do today. A skylarking, a skylarking. Before they stand up firm on their feet. Yes, a little work, and earn their bread honestly. Begging you advising, sir, begging you dancing, sir. Can it help? No, can it help? So if you keep on doing what you all are doing, you will end up in chains. Oh, begging you a 5 cent, sir. Begging you a 10 cent, sir. Can it help? No, can it help? So if you keep on doing what you all are doing, you will end up in chains. So if you keep on doing what you all are doing, you will end up in chains. Skylarking, that's what you do today. Skylarking, before they stand up firm on their feet.
C3Arts Radio, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are always, always back. And we were just giving you a taste. Of course, this is Grammy weekend, and you knew that we were going to have to get into it a little bit here on C3Arts Radio. And you were just listening to the Grammy-nominated song, You Deserve It, by J.J. Hairston. Now, fantastic song. It has totally been one of the runaway hits of the year. It won or was nominated for 9 Stellar Awards, and is also, of course, nominated here at the Grammys today. And in honor of this song, in honor of how just the impact of this song, we have today the writer of that song, songwriter, musician, Mr. David D. Bloom. How are you today, David?
Good, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Congratulations on everything, I want to say, first of all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So, what's it been like to kind of have been somewhat thrusted into the middle of this? First, the Stellar Awards, the Grammys. It's been somewhat of a whirlwind. Now, one thing I know is that the actual song, You Deserve It, you wrote it some time ago. When I say sometime, maybe by 2014, if I'm correct.
Yeah. I wrote it back in December of 2013.
2013, okay.
December 2013. Just inside my home, I was, just going through some transitions, just in life, and I needed some type of encouragement, some type of resolve. So normally what I do as an outlet is I just write. I get behind the keyboard and kind of write and pray, and that's what happened within that moment. And so the song came out of a spontaneous moment, and it sounded pretty good.
I would say.
I wrote the lyrics down, and I introduced it to my church that Saturday morning, and the praise team they liked it, and so we sang it that following Sunday, and then from there the song just kind of, became like almost an every Sunday expression.
Wow.
And then it just went out through Fayetteville, which that's my city. Back in 2014.
Okay. Yeah, I know you were raised in Fayetteville, but you're from Alaska, which I thought was quite interesting.
Right.
Yeah, or you were born in Alaska.
Born in Alaska, raised in Fayetteville. Yes, sir.
Now, David, I think you have music in your veins, if I'm correct here, right? You come from quite a musical family. Can you tell a little bit about your upbringing in the church and in song?
Sure. My parents are pastors, so I'm a PK. My mom is a musician, and she's a singer as well. So when we were younger, my mom was the praise and worship leader for my dad. And so my brother Timothy, who's also a singer-songwriter, musician, producer.
Absolutely. A lot of talent in that family there.
Wow.
Okay, yeah. He's a 2-time Grammy Award winner.
Yes, that's right.
So he's been pretty inspiring. But he started to play piano to kind of take over from my mom a little bit. And so from there, I kind of, chimed in, watched, and kind of picked it up a little bit. And, so I've been playing and writing since I was about 11 or 12 years old. Mainly writing rather than playing. I didn't really want to be a musician. I only wanted to play enough to write.
That's interesting. That's interesting, David. I was thinking about that because I wanted to ask you if you had a preference, because I know that you perform, but writing maybe as opposed to recording, do you see that there's a difference there? Something that speaks to you more? You would say the writing speaks to you more?
Yeah, really they both speak to me, but because I'm a writer at heart, just not even with just songs, but just with journaling and things of that nature, poetry. Writing it just does more for me. I've always been that way.
Now you're here in New York, David. How's it been? How's Grammy Week been treating you so far? What's the experience like?
Well, I leave from New York tomorrow morning. I'm still in I'm still in Fayetteville.
Okay. So you're coming in tomorrow morning. Okay, so we got
Yeah,
we got the welcome out rug out for you here. We got the
Yeah.
welcome rug out here for you, David.
Yes,
So
sir.
I had a chance to see an interview that you did at the Stellar Awards, and you
Oh, wow.
were very much thankful for being in the moment, and I see and how you discuss when you created the song, when you first got the inspiration for the song "You Deserve It." It seemed to be in a very special moment as well.
Right.
It seems like these things are being strung together to you. Do you feel this is divine in a sense?
Absolutely. You know, I feel like, you know, we go through things in life only to produce the best out of us. And I feel like, you know, I'm just a firm believer that if God takes you through something, it's only because he's trying to get something out of you. Whether it be of a big measure or of a small measure. You know, there's something that he's trying to get out of you that will change not only your perspective, but the perspective of others around you. And I kind of believe that that's kind of what happened just within that, you know, that season of my life. You know, I wasn't just going through for nothing, you know, but God was just trying to get maybe a song out of me, you know, that would help, you know, other people. So I do believe it was divine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were you surprised at how it's being received and how many lives you're touching? Because it is an amazing, and my hat.
Absolutely.
off to
Yeah,
you.
I'm still trying to catch up, to be honest.
Yeah.
I never expected any of this. Never expected any of it. And, you know, when the song was first released and JJ put it on YouTube, I looked and I saw only 2,000 views, and I started crying just off of 2,000 views. Just off of 2,000 views. You know, now we're at 40 million views.
Yeah.
I was about to say there might not be enough
it's
tears now.
overwhelming.
Yeah, so now the whole congregation's
I'm
crying.
still
right?
crying.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
It's just overwhelming.
so David, I just want to ask: is there anyone in particular that you're excited to meet at the Grammys?
Ooh, yeah.
That's a good
Great
question.
question.
I've always said I wanted to meet Beyonce.
Hey, gotta meet Queen Bee.
Yeah. If I had the opportunity to meet Beyonce, that'd be great.
Okay, David, we're gonna ask you a little more creative than that one. that's a little too easy there.
Yeah. Oh no, I haven't really thought about it too much. Just being around just that culture and just all the people who love music in general, you know. I'll just soak it all up either way.
Absolutely. And I know there's a great chance that a lot of people that you were influenced by coming up will be there as well. Have you had a chance? Yeah. So that should be fascinating and stuff. But who are some of the people who kind of not guided you, but gave you a light?
From Fred Hammond to Kirk Franklin, William McDowell. Man, there's just so many. Some of the greats who went on, you know, I'm sure they won't be there, but, you know, like Andre Crouch, you know. There's just so many that, you know, I just grew up listening to and kind of mimic my writing from. Yeah.
Very interesting.
And you said your brother has won, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My brother won for Chris Brown and for Neo.
Oh, wow. Did he give you any tips or any advice to?
Now, Timothy is a cool dude. We've had Timothy here in the studio before. He's a cool guy. They got a lot of talent in that family,
cool.
I have to say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he just said keep smiling. That's all
There
he
you
said.
go.
Keep smiling
That's good advice.
and take it all in. Yeah.
Yeah. Be in the moment, right? Be in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much, David, for joining us today, and best of luck for everything. What would you say once the dust settles? What's next for David Bloom?
Just to keep pursuing, man. Keep pursuing my dreams. Keep writing. I believe I'm a firm believer that, you know, the death of success is success itself. You know, so I won't stop here. Just keep elevating, keep going up, keep going higher.
Okay.
Well, you deserve it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, David, for joining us. And where should people go to keep up with you and
Absolutely.
the new exploits of David Bloom?
Yes, sir. Facebook, just David Bloom, and Instagram, David D. Bloom.
Instagram, David D. Bloom, and Facebook, David Bloom. Okay, fantastic.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David D. Bloom, thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Gave
guys.
us the song "You Deserve It" and is reaping the rewards as he should.
Ashe.
As he
Thank
should.
you so much. I
Yeah, man.
appreciate you guys.
Congratulations,
Okay.
man.
Have a
Take
great
care.
Congrats.
Bye. You too.
Bye-bye.
C3Arts Radio. So we're coming to the end of another fantastic show.
Oh, say it so.
And we had a great opportunity to get Melody Vaughn here and ingratiated. Is that the right
Yeah.
word? Ingratiated? No, I'm not
Well,
sure that's the right
you're
word.
he's a scholar. I'm the creative energy. I measure and think about color and
I think that's the right word. I think so. We're
Not
very
bad.
happy to have you here and part of the
Absolutely.
team.
Yeah. Thank you.
And remember, every Tuesday right here, 5 to 6 p.m., you can catch us, WHCR 90.3 FM. You can also catch us online. That's at C3Arts Radio, Twitter and Instagram, C3ArtsRadio.com. On Facebook, C3Arts Radio. Maybe we need to do a little more on this Facebook thing, yeah.
Brother, believe it. It's done. You guys are it's on.
I
Yeah.
need some, I need some tips for my place.
I got you. I got you.
Need a little love in there, a little
I got
something,
you.
a little warmth.
Yeah, my gift to you.
Here we go. C3Arts Radio. We'll see you next weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye all. Peace.